Hey, today we're doing a thing. Today's thing, the top 10. Now, as you know, Halloween is coming round in just a couple of weeks on the 31st. So I thought I'd bring some spoopiness to the channel and bring some Halloween themed videos to the channel. And this one is my top 10 Disney villains. So, coming in at last place at number 10 is Gaston. Now, Gaston to me is a very good Disney villain. He likes to get his way and persevere and fight his way to what he wants. Doesn't always get it, as it's the case. He is, doesn't have Belle. He doesn't always get what he wants, but he doesn't get for a lack of trying, which is always good. That is what you need in a Disney villain. I made this list because he is one of my top 10 favorites, clearly in this video, and the reason why is because, like I said, he's persistent. He is always trying to get what he wants, even though countless times we've said no. So he's at number 10. Let's move on to number 8. Okie dokie, so coming in at number 9 we have Scar. Now Scar to me is a very iconic villain, working from inside the family to get what he wants through pure jealousy. Now jealousy is mostly what causes a villain to turn into a villain in the first place, so this is why he is in this list. And also those famous words of "Long live the king" just send chills every single time. Those iconic words are so iconic in Disney movies that even if you've never seen The Lion King, you probably know those 4 words. Just such a great film, a great villain. That's why he's made the list at number 9. Okay, so making her way to number 8 is the one and only Evil Queen, the first villain in a full-length feature film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. She is cunning, she is evil, she is again in the family. Obviously she's a stepmother, so whether you want to count that as being family, that's up to you, but I'm going to count it as being part of the family. And she is very much an evil person, hence her name, the Evil Queen. But she's on this list because she gets her way. Sure, it doesn't go to plan at the beginning with the huntsman, but she comes up with another plan with the poison apple, and she finds a way to poison Snow with the apple and put her into a deep trance sleep until the prince comes and gets her with true love's kiss. Now, it is very important that she was able to do this to move the story along, and a good villain can always move the story along regardless of if they win or if they lose. That's just how it is. So she's at number 8. We're going to move on to number 7. Okay, I don't think this guy needs any introduction, and I bet you're wondering to yourself, Zach, why have you put this guy in? Now I'm going to tell you why I put this guy in, because this guy right here is very evil. It takes a true villain to pretend to be a hero. It takes a true villain to be able to weave in, to pretend to help people. It takes a true villain to be so maniacal and so strange, in a way, I want to say, that he finds pleasure from helping people, only to not actually what he wants in the end run. Sure, he wants to be the king of Arendelle. He doesn't get that, but he was very, very close. He could have married Anna. He would have been a prince. He would have been next in line with Anna on the heir to the throne when she passed. He would have been king of Arendelle. Or he would have found a way to kill Elsa off, quite possibly, if he wanted to. He is very, very cunning and very, very evil in his ways, that he pretended to be a good guy just to get closer to them. And that makes a very good villain. That's why he's on this list at number 7. So we're going to move right along to number 6. Okay, number 6 is the one and only Jafar. Now Jafar to me is a great, great villain. He gets power of what he wants. He becomes a sultan for a short while. He becomes all powerful, what he wanted to be, through the power of the genie. He is very, very good at being a villain. Sure, he didn't go about it the right way, because there is only one flaw in Jafar's plan, and it's why he didn't use his staff in the first place. I don't get why he didn't use it. I don't understand, but he didn't. He didn't use his advantage to be able to completely take control of what he wanted, and that's why he's only at number 6, because he had, even though his plan was almost very much great in my eyes, it wasn't executed right. I was going to say perfectly executed. It wasn't executed right, so that's why he's only at number 6. Moving on to number 5. Halfway, let's go. Okay, so number 5 is the one and only Mother Gothel. Now, Mother Gothel to me is a great villain. She is able to manipulate a child to not go out, but she not only kidnapped her as a child, as a baby, she took her for granted for her magic hair, and she lied to her saying that she was a mother, and she keeps her from going outside. Now, that being said, obviously Rapunzel goes from the tower, but Mother Gothel doesn't give up. She follows and follows and always has a plan to keep her plan in place, and that is what some villains don't do. Her plan was almost executed very, very well and perfectly, but of course there were some flaws in which it didn't all go to plan, so that's why. But nevertheless, she is very much good at being a villain because of this very factor. She is able to tell an innocent child that has never left the tower in her entire life that she is her mother. She uses her for her magic hair to stay young, and she doesn't age, so she looks the same as she did 18 plus years ago. Very, very much a bad thing to do, but in the eyes of a villain, a very good thing to do. So that's why she's at number 5. But we are 4 more away from our top 1, so let's go and find out who number 4 is. Okay, so number 4 is the one and only Davy Jones. Now, Davy Jones is a great part of Pirates of the Caribbean, and I love the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. I love the movies, the ride, the music, everything about it. It's by far one of my favourite Disney things. Davy Jones is no exception. Davy Jones to me, I consider him a villain. He fights his way around, he's cursed, he doesn't know what else to do with his time, so he goes and attacks random people. And sure, you can argue all pirates are villains in the eyes of the redcoats. But for this purpose of this movie, I'm going to consider Davy Jones to be the one villain that I am focusing on. Now, Davy Jones is very much an evil guy. He has that very spooky ghost ship, the Flying Dutchman. He is cursed and has been cursed for a very long time. And inside Dead Man's chest, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, his heart is in a chest that's keeping him alive. He is beating, his heart is beating in a chest so he can stay alive. That's how the curse works. But Davy Jones is a great villain in Dead Man's Chest and a great villain throughout the franchise that he is, the part he is in, and that's why he's made this list at number 4. Rolling into the bronze section, and the bronze winner is Captain James Bartholomew Hook from Peter Pan. Now, Captain Hook is by far one of my favourite pirate villains because of his one and only goal to defeat Peter Pan. Now, Peter Pan is the whole reason why he has a hook in the first place. He is the reason he can't have two hands, because Peter pushed him and fought him into the sea and the croc got his hand, and Peter then purposely gave the crocodile a clock so then Captain Hook can always hear the crocodile coming, hence the name Tick-Tock Croc. Now, the whole reason I absolutely love Captain Hook is for a number of reasons. One being that he is a great Disney villain, but not only that, the movie by Robin Williams was in, Hook, Dustin Hoffman, who played Captain Hook, was phenomenal in that as well. And there is the Once Upon a Time version as well, but for the purpose of this list, I'm not classing him as a villain because technically in that he is a good guy. And spoilers alert, if you haven't seen Once Upon a Time, Peter Pan is supposed to be the bad guy, which I can see the twist coming in a sense, but for the purpose of the Disney side of it, Captain Hook is the villain in it, and he is a great villain. He is courageous, he is cunning, he is objective driven, he's always thinking on his toes, he's thinking of the next step to try and get Peter Pan, and that's why he's made the list at number 3. Moving on to the Silver Awards, second place coming up in just a second. Now, when I was doing this list, as all my lists are extremely hard to do because I have to look and bring up lists and look through my favourites and then categorize them from 10 to 1. Sometimes I can't even do that, so I just do a top 5. But this one I was able to find 10 that I absolutely love, and just bear in mind that none of these are well, I want to say some of them are better than others because obviously it's a top 10, it's ranking them, but I don't dislike them, I'm ranking them. I don't dislike them or like them any more than the previous one, but I'm obviously ranking them so I can do that. So these two were particularly hard to do. Now, if I were to do this list and started my channel a few years ago, this guy wouldn't even exist on this list because I did not like The Nightmare Before Christmas. I found it weird. I never liked the Tim Burton stuff until a few years recently. Now, that being said, rewatching this movie and watching it over and over and every couple of times a year, Halloween and Christmas, this guy always gets me. Now, he is a great villain. I'm just going to put it out there. He is fantastic. For the short amount of time that he is in the movie, he is phenomenal. The soundtrack that he does, the song, everything is just on point. It is great. I love it. He is witty, he is humorous, he is sarcastic, he is everything a Disney villain needs to be, with that sassy side, just like Hades started off in Hercules. And he's carrying it on, and he's just fantastic. He's just, he's amazing. One of the best in my opinion. He is great. I love him to bits. He is, by far, he deserves this spot. It was very much a struggle for 1 and 2 for this list, but I had settled on number 2, so then I could get him on number 1. Get number 1 for my other one. So, with that being said, we are going to look at our number 1 in just a moment. Okay, so at number 1 we have the very awesome Dr. Fastlane. Now, Dr. Fastlane is by far my favourite Disney villain, purely because he is very, very cunning and very, very I can't think of a word actually. He is very majestic in his ways, I want to say. He's very inviting. And you don't get that with many Disney villains, to be quite honest. They're usually made to be evil. Now, obviously he was made to be evil, but at the beginning of the movie, I thought he was just a regular guy. Boy, was I wrong the first time I watched this movie. He is the whole plot of this movie, in my opinion, and by far one of the best Disney villains, because he is inviting, and without him the movie couldn't progress, the story couldn't progress. It was all down to him basically. And sure, okay, he got banished to the evil world, to the shadow worlds, but at the end of the day, it was him that actually did the majority of the work for the movie to progress, and that's why he is my favourite Disney villain of all time. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up and comment down below who your favourite Disney villain is. I would love to know. Also, thank you, that doesn't even make sense. Thank you so much for being here. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe by pressing that big shiny red button and pressing that little ding-a-ling bell so you can stay up to date with all my new videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching once again, and until the next video, stay classy YouTube.